Behind the smiles, the realities of life in Playa del Carmen. This story happened in Playa del Carmen, Mexico, during my second visit and highlighted the stark contrast between tourists and locals. A contrast I find absolutely shocking to this day. The first time I was in Mexico, I observed this disparity from afar. Thanks to an American friend who lived there, from his veranda, I noticed hotel staff going in and out of the hotel, starting or ending their shifts. Some could freely leave the hotel, while others had to go through a metal detector and were patted down like at the airport before leaving the premises. I asked my friend what was happening, and he said, "The locals are being checked to see if they have stolen something. The foreigners can come and go as they please." Wow, this is shit, I say. And my other friend, who was visiting with me, felt the same way. It's something that made me feel very unsettled to that day. Fast forward to my return to Playa del Carmen. This time, I checked into a hostel and decided to hit the dance floor that night with some fellow backpackers. As the night progressed, I found myself with a group of locals, dancing and laughing the night away. The drinks were flowing, the music was vibrating from one bar to another, the town was in full swing. I danced, drank, and eventually ended up with the last of the group, a Mexican couple around 33-34 years old. To that date, in my eyes, they were older people. I didn't speak Spanish, and they didn't speak English, but somehow we managed to figure out we wanted to drink and party more. Everything was closed, but they gestured to me that they lived nearby and asked if I wanted to come with them. Still buzzed from the night, I agreed, ignoring any potential danger signs. We walked for about 4 minutes before arriving at the couple's apartment. The night was starting to set into dawn, and the purple-orange light was slowly appearing in the sky. The apartment was on the second floor of a 2-story building between other buildings in an alley. Stepping in, it must be a typical Mexican home, as this was the first time I had been to one. Okay, no one will kill me tonight, was a thought creeping in. As I stepped inside, I took in the living room with an open kitchen, a toilet, and a bedroom. By the window was a slim door leading to a small veranda overlooking the rooftops of Playa del Carmen. The interior was typically Mexican, a cozy apartment for a young couple. Mexican. They handed me a beer, he turned on the music, and I asked if I could smoke. Without words, they both nodded vigorously. Armed with a beer and a cigarette, I went onto the small veranda that could barely accommodate 2 people standing and let the moment sink in. Life is good, I thought, and took a sip of beer. I went back inside and sat with them, but the mood had changed slightly. What's happening now? I wondered. Suddenly, I felt her lips on my neck and his hand on my leg. I was shocked. Oh no, not this. I jumped up, now afraid. Thoughts of Mexican cartels and being buried in the desert came to my mind. I said, "No. No, no." I saw the shock in their eyes as they jumped up to and said, "No. No, no." Okay, I thought, they just wanted to try. The situation relaxed again. He handed me a cigarette, and she started singing. Phew. You and your ideas, going to strangers, I thought. After a while, we noticed we had run out of beer. The day was already here. It was early morning. We decided to drive to an open 7-Eleven. I sat in the back, he drove with her. In the passenger seat, after a few minutes, we arrived. I observed people going in and out, getting their last beer before the night turned into day. My gaze returned to my new friend, who didn't head towards the entrance but stood in a line leading to a window of the 7-Eleven. I was puzzled. Maybe he wants something different and has to get it from the window, I thought. I continued observing the scene and asked the girl somehow what was happening and pointed to the 2 situations. She pointed at someone coming out of the shop and said, "Tourist," and then pointed to the window and said, "Local." Now it dawned on me, it was the same situation, but with different characters that I had seen earlier during my travels. Discrimination between the locals who own the land and the tourists who often trash the land, and the favor is not with the locals. I was in shock, observing this situation a second time, but now being part of it. I said words like, "No, not good, not fair, you're home." I became completely sober as this was a shock to see. After a few minutes, I calmed down and could hear a quiet sobbing. I turned my head to her and saw a tear rolling down her cheek. I felt a soft empathy and put my hand on her shoulder and said, "Sorry. Sorry for the people. Sorry for your experience, as I was in fault," and she just nodded and now cried a bit harder. We sat there, quietly, waiting for her husband to come back, now armed with some snacks and a six-pack of beer, smiling brightly, not knowing what just happened here. We shook it off and greeted the man with the tasty goods. We drove, wondering where we were going. He drove for about 10 minutes in and around Playa's alleys to a beautiful, deserted beach. We sat on the stairs, and the scene I had just experienced didn't leave my head. I asked in broken English if they liked living here. They said they wished they could move. I was surprised. Why would they? They have a beautiful apartment, the most beautiful beach, good food. I come here to holiday. Why would you want to move? They said it was because of organized crime. I wondered. Here, in a holiday place, they laughed and said, everywhere. I understood. How does it affect you? I managed to ask. They said they had to pay money to them. I was in shock and deeply saddened for this beautiful young Mexican couple who were so kind, showing me their home, feeding me, and letting me be part of their life. What can be done? I asked. Nothing, he said. I said, why not move? He said, smiling but sad, everywhere I saw it was a bottomless pit for the people in the land. To survive, you have to play the game, a very dangerous one. I wonder how we could change this, how we could make people in their own country feel safe. I knew I didn't have the answer, but only my words now to shed some light on what is really happening to the locals you encounter while we are sipping our drink at their beach. I have had the privilege to grow up in a country where I did not need to fear for my safety and, even better, had the experience to live in a country where the locals have privileges everyone can dream of, and some countries could take a page from their book. It's nothing out of the ordinary to take care of your people. It's possible and already happening. With this, my greetings to the Mexican couple. I hope you are well. Thank you for letting me be part of your life.